Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm here with Crystal McGee. How's it going, Crystal?
Hey, pretty good.
So I wanted to mention, I kind of mentioned this in the tweet, but um, you were on my channel like it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Do you remember that?
Yes, dude.
Yeah. So that was like early comic skate, early indie stuff,
Dude,
and it
I
was
was like watching Zach's videos when they were coming out, like the early ones. It was fun.
yeah, like when he had like 2,000 subscribers is when I
Mm-hmm.
kind of discovered him. But at that point, it
Yeah,
was
dude,
already
because I was like trying to figure out what was going on in comics, and I was like, why is this stuff so garbage right now? And so I was just like Googling because I was unsure about buying something at the comic store. And I was like, I don't know if I want to waste my money. Let me check on YouTube first. And while I was in the comic store, I found Zach's video and I was like, dude, this guy's interesting.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he caught like the lightning in a bottle thing. He was kind
Oh,
of saying
yeah.
what everyone was thinking. And that moment's kind of past. He's still active and it's still kind of interesting, but now it's like old news. Like everyone knows kind of what's going on and
Hmm.
nobody really knows where it's going. It's like the industry never really died. It just kind of continues to suck.
Yes. It's so bad. Unless you get something like Ninja Turtles Ronin that's like about dude, that's the only thing I've been hyped for and that's like it.
Yeah.
Besides like anime and like manga and stuff like that.
Yeah. And was that one that's not Daniel Warren Johnson, is it? Or who wrote that one? Or it is
That
the
was
original.
actually the originals. They came back.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's
So that
awesome.
was like Eastman and Laird. Laird, it was like it was an old script that was just sitting on the desk. And so
Cool.
then they put it together and I was like, dude, this
Yeah,
is
we
old
need more of that.
TMNT back.
We need some of those legends to like come back. Like
Hmm.
Mark Millar, sort of holds the fort down.
Oh
Everything
yeah,
he puts out is
dude, the Magic Order from him is like one of my faves.
yeah, me too. I've been reading all the trades of that as they
Hmm.
come out. I've been
Yeah.
trying to keep up on pretty much everything he does these days, and it is all really good. But it's just like he's kind of the only one, or then
Hmm.
the Ronin, and I don't know. There's really not that many. There's not that many. Some
Now,
of the
something's killing the children. There's like some horror ones that pop up like that are like surprisingly good.
Oh, okay, cool. That's a
Yeah.
so you're still kind of following a little bit of the mainstream stuff here and
I
there.
do follow, yes. It's just I'm not buying everything like I used to, which sucks for my local comic book shop because the guys there are like so amazing. So it sucks. It's like, okay, I guess I gotta go buy some old issues for
Yeah,
some old,
that's funny. That's another of these kind of narratives that's been happening is it doesn't hurt the companies get by because they got that Disney money or whatever, but
Dude, that's not how it works. Because I
yeah,
talked with my comic book shop owner, and he's like, dude, like, we have to sell like comics on eBay and like Funko Pops just to survive. And he's like, even the Funko Pop sales are down. Because if you've seen, like, and I don't care, this is so weird, but like, I don't care about many Funko Pops. But like, if there's one for an odd little show that I like Hannibal or something like that, or if there's like
yeah,
a giant He-Man Funko Pop, like you got me, right? Like I have
yeah.
the big He-Man, the big Skeletor, like I have all the giant He-Man Funko Pops. But if it's
We're
not a giant one, the quality sucks, dude. Like I wouldn't even touch those right now. They've made
oh
them
yeah,
so cheap. So if
yeah.
you didn't
They
like it
probably
before, you're
know that.
not gonna want it.
Yeah, they've been like pinching pennies to make more
Oh yeah.
profits, and its
Well,
quality's
they're
going down.
also making like too many Funko Pops because like there's some characters on shows like let's say The Office, right? Like
Yeah,
you only want like the main three characters, right? They're kind of like noticeable and then you don't want like I don't know like a Pam Funko Pop. Like who's buying that?
yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, that's a weird overlap of the people that would need to want to buy that. They'd have to be super fans of The Office and
Yeah,
super fans of Funko
exactly.
Pop, which is so
Exactly.
small.
Because I
Yeah,
mean, it's like different if you have all the characters from like Five Nights at Freddy's or like Dragon Ball Z, right? Like almost every Dragon Ball Z character has like fan art and like popularity. But like Pam from The Office isn't like nobody's
she's
buying that. And they're doing a lot of stuff like that. Or like Sons of Anarchy, you only want like the three main guys. You don't care about anybody else.
yeah.
So
What about, do they have like Sonic the Hedgehog or
yes,
Funko
dude,
Pops?
there's so many. There's
I
so many.
I'd probably go for some of those. I like Sonic a fair amount.
Hmm. Get the
Um,
old ones because the new Sonic ones, I saw that at the store. That's garbage.
oh, okay. Where do they go when you buy them? Do you have like a shelf or in
So
your
I
house?
have like a giant desk for my computers, all the monitors. It's like massive, but I put it all on that.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yep. So they're all staring at you while you're working to motivate you to write your script that you've been putting off. So,
Yeah, cool. By the way, so we got 15 people watching, people filtering in. We call it the Narwhal Nudge. If you get any backers, I definitely want people to know about this book.
woo.
Part of the pitch for me is that, yeah, The Good Night, it was awesome and it
Oh,
was a long time ago. You know, I mean, that's one question I have is what did it just take a while to finish the art for it or
oh,
what?
dude. So that's like, so that's a story in itself. So like when we started our campaign and it ended towards the end of 2019. Then we got caught up in COVID, which that was like 2020. Anyways, so we got caught up in the COVID stuff. Our printer dropped us because they just kind of closed because they couldn't handle it, the COVID situation going on. And then after that, we got another printer in Florida and they switched. So there's like a representative who's contacting us and getting our order and everything. And he gave us the first batch. And we're like, okay, this is approved, send us the rest of it. And basically, like, long story short, they kind of just took our money and like deuced out.
No.
So then after that, I was like, okay, so then the third printer was a charm and they were local to us, actually not too far, like down the street. I'd never heard of them, but somebody from my church like recommended them and they're like a gem. And they
Cool.
actually do magazines and other stuff for people all over the US.
Oh, and did you say they're more local?
Yeah, like
Was
they're
the
super close.
Florida one, was the contact a guy named Benny? That's so obscure, I know, but
We'll talk after the stream
okay. That's
on that
funny.
one.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because
yeah,
I
so we
I
had
had a
to
really
like
bad experience with a Florida
exactly.
printer too.
Yeah, and we had to like get that. We so in the end we did get the money back. It's just that it took essentially some like behind the scenes like action to get that. So that took a while, and then after that, there was some like so it's so weird. It feels like it's just like this could be a documentary, which I'm actually making one about the making of this comic.
Oh, cool.
But
That's awesome.
yeah, it'll be on my YouTube. But I was just thinking over all of it. It was such a crazy ride. So that happened and finally we were like getting back on track and it got fulfilled. We're like, okay. So I took a little break and we're back at this one. Many lessons learned.
Yeah, you
And I
ran
was
the
also
gauntlet.
like fulfilling it myself. And I have like a crazy work schedule. And during COVID, they were just like really putting me to work. So it was just a ton of different things that just kind of popped out of nowhere and it just kind of piled up. But so what I've done differently with this one, just kind of like breezing past that, but we have put uh, together some fail safes for this one to like so it goes smoother. So we're working with a fulfillment company, easy ship to get the books out to people in a very timely manner. We also, once the campaign ends, we have a company that's going to be handling the email as well. So if people have support issues, stuff like that, those will get handled. So it's a lot of delegating. And
Cool.
it's so weird because, like, I'm a big fan of comics, but it was interesting seeing the back end because I'm a writer. So it's like, okay, here's the print file. Okay, this needs to be different for the print file. So it's like just kind of figuring it all out and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm still learning some of that stuff. Like just they were just telling me on the Cerberus print job it came up that
Mhm.
for text you're supposed to have like
Separate layers.
yeah, or it's like the CMYK black is supposed to be zero zero
Yes,
zero one
dude.
hundred. And I was like, I don't think I've been doing that. And I was like
Nope.
flipping through my books and I'm like, is it?
Thankfully, like Eric Weathers is like on top of that. He's like a lettering beast. So he knew that. So I didn't have that issue. It was more with, and it's weird because our very, I'd call it experimental, kind of very painterly style is difficult because it's in essentially like black and white. Um, and some scenes are darker than others, like literally at nighttime. So then trying to translate that to the print was a little bit tricky, but the company kind of worked with us, the printer, and we got that really nice balance. But it
Cool.
was a little tricky because there's so much stuff I didn't, as far as like a black and white comic, it's more like grayscale, to be honest. It's not like, Ninja Turtles where that was like, not really any shading, I guess you would say. I'm trying to find the term. I need more coffee today, guys.
Yeah.
I've only had like half a cup right now while I'm talking.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sipping mine too, but this is my last cup, and then I got to decide to make another pot or just go
Mhm.
without coffee for the rest of the day. And I'm like,
Yes,
oh, if I make another pot, it's almost too much. So,
exactly. Just go
um,
for it.
yeah. So one of the things, I guess, real quick, because we haven't even got into like the pitch yet. I want to give
Yeah.
you my version of what I remember because I remember
Yes.
like I really liked it, but it's like it's about a knight
Hmm.
who, because of like a curse or something, he becomes a teddy bear, and he was like this epic knight in like the medieval times, and
Yes.
then you cut to like modern times, and he's like still a hero, but he's just a teddy bear, and then he's like kind of like in this timeless fight with evil or whatever. He's trying to save this kid.
Yes.
That's kind of part of it, right?
That is very close, yes. So our character, Sir Alexander, he is indeed a knight of the round table. And he's kind of taking over a couple different knights' jobs. So he's basically retrieving the Holy Grail, which I believe that was the Green Knight who was kind of doing that. Anyways, so he's retrieved the Holy Grail, and you'll kind of see in the first couple of interior pages here. Um, he has successfully clenched the Grail. He's on his way. King Arthur is ailing, and he needs this Grail to restore his health.
Nice. I
And
remember that
he
from the
catches
legend.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. And his former friend, King Mikkel, steps in and wants to kind of become immortal in a sense. And he wants the grail for that. And Sir Alexander's not having any of that. They get into a fight. He basically curses him to the form of a teddy bear and then pushes him forward in time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is such a good idea for a comic. I remember I always thought that even way back in the day. But so the real quick other part of the pitch that I like, and it says it here, it's a 12 issue story,
Hmm.
and it's already all written, correct?
Yes. So it has been, all of it is written. It's all there. My artist, Francisco, he's just finished the work on issue 3 and he's already on to issue 4. So we're trying to fast track the art as quick as possible. That way, there's not such a huge gap like we had in between the first one and the second one. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And King Arthur is actually still alive in modern day. He is just, let's say, magically sort of frozen and in a deep sleep. So you'll kind of see King Arthur still, some of the knights are still alive, let's say some aren't. So you might get to see some of them pop up here. And they
Yeah.
do have a significant importance to the story.
Cool. That sounds so cool. This is awesome. Yeah.
I know. Thank you.
What are you? So are you writing since it's all done? Are you writing other stuff too, or are you focusing on this, or what are you
I'm
writing?
mostly just focusing on this because what's weird is that I've put together kind of like a universe around the Good Night, and we've just kind of so I have other comics that are finished completely and waiting to come out, but it's not really going to make sense till the second issue is out and people have kind of had time to read it. And so those other projects are just kind of waiting in the wings once
Those
this
and
gets
those are
out.
in the Goodnight universe as well,
Yep.
or oh, okay, cool.
Yep. So you'll see characters that pop in here. So like some of the other knights, let's say, you might see their adventure in a separate book. And it's mostly like one shots or like a graphic novel. We have our werewolf comic, which is Lunar Phases. We kind of showed that in the first issue at the end. So if you like werewolf stuff, Francisco also does the art for that.
Cool.
And we've got a couple other ones too, but it's super cool. But mostly for right now, I'm just focusing on the Good Night and getting that out to people, and then the subsequent kind of tie-ins to that.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. Um, yeah, I like all these stretch goals too. I'm like, yeah, it deserves and the fan. There's a fan art contest too. I kind of want to enter
Yeah.
it. So that ends in like a week or something.
Yes, on the 30th of this month. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, if anyone in the chat, if you want to draw a teddy bear with a sword, um,
Pretty cool.
you can enter the contest.
I
Um,
know. And if you see those, like, I don't know if it's quite, I think it's the interior page after that. So there's 3 pages that are in color. Basically, what we're doing is anytime there's a flashback, that will be in color. So
oh,
it's a
okay,
little
cool.
bit different. Yeah. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
worry, guys. It's still in black and white for the most part.
yeah. Because the black and white is kind of fun, actually,
I
too.
know it's so fun, dude. There's just so much that you can just so much detail in black and white. And I do like the color, but it's just there's something different about it. Because I
Yeah,
think it just leaves it up kind of to the imagination as far as what color skin someone has or like what color the dragon scales are, all that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
yeah. I'm gonna share with audio and see if I can play the video. Sometimes my internet slows down, so if that
No
happens,
worries.
yeah. Ooh. I love the logo too.
Oh, thanks.
Nice. So one thing about that I kind of like is I didn't. It's kind of metal. Is that a little
Yes,
bit of like the feeling of the comic too?
yes, for sure.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fan of Heavy Metal Magazine. I always have been. I have so many issues
Oh,
in
nice.
my collection, and it's amazing. I love stuff like Doom and Conan and Akira, and a lot
Yeah.
of those are my influence, especially Akira for the good night.
Oh, okay. So it's not like necessarily like a Disney kind of thing. It's
Oh
like a little
no.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's weird. It's more like think about like I guess Lord of the Rings on like steroids.
Okay.
So there are like big battles with giants, like cockroach people, and some nasty, creepy creatures. And like even in the first issue, we were like beheading like woodland giants. So, but we're doing the same thing in the second issue. It's just we have like a couple sequences. One in particular where there is some nudity. There's like you know, there's some stuff going on, but it's nothing that you wouldn't see in a museum. It's just like nymphs. So like you can't really get around like showing nymphs without literally showing nymphs. So like
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
it's
cool.
very tasteful. Like there's nothing that you wouldn't see in an R-rated movie. So yeah.
Nice. Uh, who 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 do have you like? What streams do you frequent normally the past few years within
Mhm.
CG?
So frequently in the past few years. So I I'm on a ton of people's streams.
Yeah,
I
because
just lurk. So
Comic
I'm
Gate is
so
so big.
obviously yeah.
Yeah, well, because I like haven't I kind of lost touch with you. You know, I haven't talked to you in a couple years, but I was like, I see you around here and there in the chat. So
Yeah.
like, you
So
should join.
EVS I'm always popping in there.
Yeah,
I've been watching there's a couple different people, like the Zaid Bros.
yeah,
I'm on their stream quite frequently. There's Chris Evans. I'll pop in his a lot with Sim. Uh,
yeah.
I'm just kind of like Mandy. I'm on that one quite a bit. I watch almost every Mandy stream.
Nice.
And let's see. Well, Cecil, whenever he decides to stream, which isn't
Yeah,
often. And yeah, that's pretty much the most reoccurring streams that I'm hopping on for the most part. I mean, there is Brian Six Gun Gorilla. I am on his quite a bit in
yeah.
chat.
Nice.
It's just the day that I hop on when I can because I love his horror streams. It's just whenever he does them, like I get called into work or like I'm doing something else. And yours, I thought like so YouTube's been doing it for a while. But like they'll unsub me from people and I'm like, dude, where have they been? And then I go look and I'm like, oh, I've been missing all their streams.
Yeah,
So I was
I'm
actually
paranoid that they do that
following
to me
you.
too, because you don't know
Yes,
until you
dude.
remember, and then you're like, "Oh
Because
crap,
I
you
was
did
like,
that."
when is Narwhal streamed? And then I was like, oh, I've been on so
Yeah, I know. A couple people told me that, and I was like, "Darn YouTube, why they do
I
that?"
was like, where did he go? Like, I see you on Twitter all the time, but I was like, when's he streaming? Like, I'm not getting any notifications, and now I know why.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah. Let's go over the tiers for the books.
Yes.
So issue 2, 25 pages, 32-page magazine size. Does the magazine size mean bigger than regular
Yes.
comic?
So
Okay.
it is bigger than regular comic. So, like, for example, if you have picked up a magazine or specifically like heavy metal, like those are bigger sized issues than the average comic book size. So it definitely complements the art because the art is super amazing. Francisco is just like a beast. So it really does justice to his work on those bigger pages.
Yeah, that's awesome. Digital bundle. Is bundle mean like issues 1 and 2?
Yes. Issues
Okay.
1 and 2 all in one bundle, guys.
So that's like pretty affordable too. So
Yeah.
that's kind
And
of
it's
nice.
a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah, for international too, if they don't want to pay for
Yeah.
big shipping.
And if
This
you just want to check out issue 1, like you're not sure about the campaign, you can click on the website link there, and that'll take you to mysticalcomics.com. You can pick up the first digital issue there, and we'll be adding some new stuff to the website as well. So stay tuned for that.
yeah, we can check it out real quick. So this is your company website.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
it's pretty nifty.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, people are doing this more and more, having like a cool website that they can go to. I haven't done it yet, but I want to.
Yeah, for sure.
So comic bundle. So issues 1 and 2.
Yes, correct.
Nice.
So you can get caught up because with what we're doing with the good night and just kind of like in my head, like I have all this stuff going on. But what's going to happen is that the issues that are in circulation right now, once that stock dries up, that's it. Like we'll continually like reprint the collected editions and stuff like that, but the actual floppies, we will not be making any more copies of those.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask because it says only 50
Mhm.
available. So that's kind of limited edition. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one does seem like the pitch is like one of my favorites. Like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, the feels.
yeah,
No, I
it's so
can't
good.
process feels this late day.
Yeah, chug more coffee. Um,
I'm working on it.
yeah, the MVP package, $100, 3 out of 10. What's this one?
So in the MVP, that will include 2 reader copies and then 2 CGC graded copies, as well as a challenge coin. And for some reason, I was pretty sure that I added that it was going to include a reader copy in there. But for some reason, Indiegogo was acting up and it didn't add it, but it is in there. And if you go to the frequently asked questions, I kind of clarify down there because a
Okay,
couple of people have been asking. So no
cool.
worries, guys. There is a reader copy.
Yeah, so that's kind of the ultimate collector one if you want to do
Yes.
that one. And this does seem like a project that is great for that purposes of collecting. 23 people watching, by the way. Everyone, we're promoting the Goodnight 2, Paradise Lost. The Goodnight 1, it was a few years ago. Crystal was on my channel. We were promoting it, and it's an awesome like story, awesome idea for a story. And then the book itself is awesome. The writing's great. It's already all written too. It's gonna be 12 issues, kind of an epic. And she's expanded the universe. It kind of involves the Knights of the Round, but through like a time, kind of like Samurai Jack, almost like a time warp to the present.
Dude, I love Samurai Jack. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
They
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
make stuff like that anymore, guys. Or
I
like
know.
Spider-Man 94, I'm always telling people, or like Batman Beyond, like or Batman the animated series for that matter. Like kids shows used to be like legit and they used
Yeah,
to go hard and now it's just like sad.
they all have circle eyes and the big cheeks.
So,
I'm like, no, I miss the
like
when.
that's some of those shows are amusing, like a guilty pleasure watch, but like other than that, it's not like anything of substance.
Yeah, yeah. I'm waiting for the pendulum to swing back, and you just never know. You're like,
It's
it
gonna
could
take a
be,
while.
yeah, it could be a year, it could be 10 years. The
People are
world could
still
end.
drinking that juice. I'd say it's probably 10 to
Yeah,
15.
yeah, and by then we'll all be like forced to eat bugs and plugged into the matrix or whatever. And
Dude, why are they trying to eat bugs? I don't understand that.
I don't know either. That's it's Bill Gates is like part of
I
that.
know, but it's like it's
He's
weird.
being weird.
It
He's
is. And I mean,
maybe he
I
was going to
was
Epstein Island and shit. Not to get really into that, but
that's great cuz
he,
like I am a script doctor and I do it through a company, but I'll go kind of back and forth to LA and whatnot if I'm needed. I used to do it more, but with COVID, like stuff's kind of changed and slowed. But anywho, there's a lot of like weird stuff that people are doing in their little echo chamber, like just very bizarre activities and like food habits. And you're just looking in there like this is totally insane
yeah,
on so many levels. There's just
it's
wild stuff like the bug thing. There's just so like there's vending machine cupcakes. Like I don't I
yeah,
don't understand, dude.
yeah. I saw that at Vegas. I went to Vegas for the first time a few months
The
ago.
vending machine cotton candy. What is that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
and they had vending machine pizza
Ooh,
and
yes, dude.
vending machine like
Okay, so like
delicatessen.
food habits. Somebody in the chat is asking about food habits. Okay, so there's this thing in like that's been happening where it's like they'll have a banana and they'll deep fry it and they'll coat it in some like very like wasabi sauce and they'll put like nuts on top of it and they're put like weird stuff like that, okay? Like like any type of weird food trend, they're on it over there, okay? So like even for example, there's this food trend in China that they're trying in LA where it's like you take these like black rocks, you heat them up,
Oh,
okay, like in a skillet, and then you put like coating on it, and people just lick stuff off the rocks and then put it like in a bowl beside them, okay?
yeah, that's
Like
so
they're doing that
ridiculous.
in LA right now, big time, and it's
Yeah,
like,
that's so that
what
that
is
tweet
that?
John Malin put reposted that on Twitter, and I
I've
saw it for the
seen
first time.
that before that even came out. I was like, this is like old news to me. It's so gross.
Yeah,
But they're
that's
doing
so
weird
weird.
stuff like from other countries like that, and they're bringing that to LA. I just don't know.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're a script doctor, like for like TV and LA stuff, kind of, or
Yeah,
what? Oh, nice. Is that your day job, or what?
that
Is
is
that
my day job. Yes.
cool? That kind of helps with.
I'm also like, and I also do ghostwriting. So there's TV shows that are very notable that I've worked on and other stuff, but like I can't legally can't talk to you about.
Oh yeah, well that's fascinating. That's kind of fun. That kind of helps, like makes the pitch for the good night even more special. It's like Crystal, obviously, because I respond to the pitch so much and the world building and everything, and it's like, well, of course she knows what she's doing. So
Yeah. Like I've always seen and I've been a big fan of comics since I was a kid. My dad was a big collector and he had like so many things in his collection that it's insane. Some of the issues and first appearances that he has, it's like insane. I wish to have a collection as good as his one day. But it's just so wild. And I've always seen comics as kind of a similar medium to television. Like you would kind of have certain comics that kind of have like an episodic flow, right? Like it's like a new thing next issue. And there's kind of a very loose plot. And then there's some narrative driven where it's like, okay, here's a very specific arc and it's taking us somewhere and okay, we're on the road. And if you think about it, like comics are a very good episode of TV. Like you have a cliffhanger at the end and then you want to know more, you get the next issue, kind of like another cliffhanger. Like that's when Netflix was at its peak, like when House of Cards came out, right? And you get this like crazy cliffhanger and you're like, whoa. And then you go watch the next episode and you were just like, and you went through the whole season of House of Cards.
Yeah,
It's
like I
kind of
can't
like
stop.
comics. Yeah.
Yeah, and now they don't. TV doesn't really even do that anymore, right? I don't even know what they
No,
do.
they, it's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, how
Most
did?
of it's just rewriting what you've already written until it's just a ghost of its former self. So like I'll be brought on by a specific like production company. I give them kind of like the script that I've done, right? So basically as a script doctor, you're kind of going in, it's like okay, story structure, okay, the formatting, the editing, all of that stuff that's going on with that. Just that it's kind of connecting with people, that it makes sense continuity wise, because it's like okay, in look, I can't speak, like in episode 1 this was happening, but then this character like isn't with the group, but you said he was with the group earlier. So I kind of fix stuff like that, and it's like okay, I fixed it, here's what I changed, and then they'll bring somebody else in to change what I did, and it'll just kind of keep going like that until you get something that's like a Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, that's funny. I
And it's
watched it.
people of varying talents, so it's very like messy.
Yeah, I saw a clip from the show Louis with Louis C.K. and it's in a
Mhm.
writer's room, and the guy
Uh-huh.
at the beginning, he's like, "All right, we're bringing you guys in to punch in more comedy that we seeped out by giving it too many notes
That's
to
always
begin
a
with."
red flag, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And most of the time the notes that they give you, and I've been on like in a lot of writers' rooms, and some of the notes that the studio gives you are like, it's there's just no other way. It's like extremely dumb. Like, why doesn't this character like literally add a note? And it was like, okay, why isn't this character wearing shades? Like, shades read well with our demographic. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's like, well, we could just add the sentence that they're wearing
it's
shades in.
nighttime, guys. Like,
That
I
sounds
love the song, sunglasses at night, but like, I don't know if we should like actually have.
Yeah, something that almost sounds like script notes, like from executive notes from AI, like AI is working them.
Now, sometimes somebody will give you a note that's genuinely like good criticism and is like a gem and it's like actually leading you in the right direction. But those are few and far between. And it's mostly like, oh, why doesn't this person have this or that? Why don't they have this haircut? Just like very appearance, like type notes. And then it's like, okay, well, this is like a little too intense. Let's tone that down a bit. That's another common note that you'll get. Or it's like, I really love this, but we need to add more women. That's probably one of the top notes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's
Add
a
more
whole thing
women.
that's a thing that's happening now for a while. They got the diversity quotas, and it's kind of overall been maybe a negative thing. I don't
Well,
know.
dude,
But
I've told people for a long time, and they've been doing this. There's something, and I'm probably gonna butcher like the name. I'm very bad with names, but there's something called the Bechtel test,
yeah,
and a lot of the writing software, okay, like you can just take your whole script and you can throw it in there to the software, and it generates like a Bechtel test score, if you will. So a
yeah,
lot of times, if I let's say like pitch a script to sell it to someone, they're like, and my scripts are like horror, action, adventure, fantasy, and a lot of the characters that I write are male. It's just how it is, and they throw it into the Bechdel test, or the Bechdel test, whatever, and it's like, okay, well, your score is like way low because it's just like
yeah.
it's
All the
just all
classic
dudes, and I'm like,
movies, all the best movies of all time, none of them passed the best the
I
Bechdel.
know, dude. I tried that too. Like, I I can't, dude. Like I showed them exactly that. I'm like, okay, look, like Lord of the Rings, right? Big success.
Yeah.
Boom, failed. Okay, Men in Black, failed. Okay. Like
Yeah.
everything good, Jaws, boom, failed. Like it all fails. And it's really dumb to test by, it's like the person who it's named after, I believe, and like don't quote me, but I think they were even shocked that it was a thing.
Yeah, yeah, it
Like it
really
was a
took on a
joke,
life of
kind
its
of.
own. It was an indie
I
lesbian
believe,
comic
aren't they
lady.
like a comedian or like, yeah, they did something different.
Yeah, she was like a comedian. You know, I wrote a script recently where a husband and a wife separate, and then he kind of has his scene, and they meet up later, and he's like, "So how was your evening?" And she's like, "I passed the Bechdel test." And so I just had it happen off screen.
Because, dude, it's like, it's so tough to write with that in mind because if a female character, if you have a lot of female characters, let's say like Mean Girls, right? But they're talking about guys most of the time, which most women do. It's just like a thing, okay? And they do that, that fails you because they want the women to be talking about A, either other women or B about stuff that isn't a man. And it's like, dude, what are actual women actually talking about? Like they're talking about like guys, okay? Like
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they say you can't talk about that's the Bechdel test for anyone who doesn't
so
know
you
is
can't talk about, like if you're just with the girls, you can't be talking about another guy. So let's say, and this is like a very innocent scenario, right? They got like really intense with me about this because like this script I was working on for a particular company, they're like, it failed the Bechtel test. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, so there's this scene. Okay, this is a scene where there's a mother that's unfortunately dying of cancer. Very slowly, it's like terminal. She's probably not going to make it. And the daughter, she's talking to her daughter in like her final moments, like, take care of your father, like, you're the big sister, take care of the kids, yada, yada. And because she was talking, the mother was talking about the father on the deathbed, that and with another female character, which was the daughter,
yeah.
that scene failed. And I'm
Yeah, it
and
would
I'm like,
ruin the
guys,
scene.
okay.
Yeah, like on her deathbed, she's like gonna just talk about
Like,
whatever,
make
like
sure your father's okay. Check
yeah,
on your brother, your
yeah,
little sister. Like,
she
you got to be the
instead they
big
talk
girl now.
about what do they talk like a movie they just saw or something like that.
And
They
I
passed
was
the
like,
Bechdel
there's
test.
no way that
Yeah,
I can rewrite this. I can't rewrite that.
yeah, it's
I
almost like
know
an idiocracy
exactly.
thing. Brian Kreisgau points out the really effed up thing is a Bechdel
And
test was a joke by the
these
cartoonist author.
production companies love it. Dude, it's like that is their Bible, okay, right now.
Wow,
That is
yeah,
they're
like
serious. That's why if you see shows today and you're like, wow, this is like a buzzkill, it's because that is their bread and butter. That is the altar they're praying on before they come into the studio to make your life miserable.
yeah,
That is
that's
what they're
crazy.
doing.
This is really fascinating stuff. Yeah, thanks. This is one of the better promo interviews I've done, I think, because you got lots of good insight. Um, I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Oh, what do you, can you talk publicly? But what do you think about the writers' strike, or can you even say anything?
Yeah. So like the writer's strike, it's complicated. Um it's unfortunate that it's holding up a lot of productions, which is always a big deal for me because productions have sometimes like thousands of people. Let's say like for a Marvel movie, right? And
Mhm.
you're holding that up, that's like thousands of people's like, bread and butter. That's their food on the table. So it sucks that they're doing that, and that people who do want to work and do want to still put stuff out are being punished. Um, and if you step out of line, there are certain things that, you might lose your spot in the guild, essentially. So But there's different things, but it just sucks. Um, that it's always these things. It ends up where a lot of people are suffering. Even like COVID, like all the small businesses that got shut down, and we're never getting those back. Like so many comic shops, mom and pop restaurants, like third generation, it's all getting shut down, or they can't afford it, they're selling it. And so it's always sad to see the little guy kind of get the raw end of the deal. So
Yeah.
that's probably as much as I can say.
Yeah. It, slows down, I might bad in 3 seconds. Knocked me off. But I don't know if it might have already done that. But I'm gonna message you on Twitter so you know too. Boop beep boop. Robo.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of sounds like you're cutting out for a second. I wasn't sure if it was me or you.
No, it's me. Yeah, so my internet like wigs out once an hour for 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So
I guess that's like your NSA man telling you that like you went too far there.
yeah. It's kind of weird. I haven't had this situation before. And it's still being a little
It's
weird.
because you mentioned Epstein, dude.
Oh yeah, like honestly, it could be something like that.
They're like, shut him down.
Yeah. Cool. So I think my connection's still. I'm like nervous now. It might
No worries.
be bad.
I know
But
somebody in the chat was asking like where I'm located at. So I hop between like a couple of different states. So Kansas being one of them, Texas, and LA. I hop in between those three pretty consistently.
oh, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. You're a writer in LA, basically. That's kind of fun. Fun to talk to
So
you.
Nate asked who my favorite comic writer is. Probably Christopher Priest. Like that was
Nice.
some good stuff in his prime. That was like, that was good.
What did he write? I remember your boy Zach talked about him.
A lot of X-Men.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
And like some of those old, like he also like Christopher Priest also did the new Vampirella kind of like reboot, re-imaging. I don't know what you'd quite call it for Dynamite. And his writing was good, but I did not like the art. So
Okay.
that kind of sucks. So I stopped. But other than that, like he had some good stuff. Really good stuff. I also it's so hard because there's also like Jeff Lemire, like there's so many guys.
That Lemire is good.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
Like
you got an
also
extra
I love
backer.
Alan Moore too.
Yeah, he's obviously like one of the best. He's good.
Yeah.
You got one extra backer. There can be one or two more. I think this campaign deserves. Uh, 27 people watching. Definitely consider hopping onto this project because it's pretty awesome. And Crystal's obviously really good at what she does. And even there's a really
Thank you.
affordable option too. Yeah, yeah. But even the $10 for both digital, if you
Because
don't.
you save a little bit if you actually get the bundle here because it's $5.99 on the site. So, why not save a buck, guys?
Yeah, yeah. And there's a limited amount of copies left too, so there's some collector kind of action going on
Yeah.
too.
And that is very lacking nowadays, especially just because there's like 15 variant covers, if not more.
Yeah.
Because it's so insane now, guys. Like they keep rebooting to a new number one, and the new number one has like 25 covers of like Wolverine and Cyclops, and it's like weird, like just like creepy fan art shipping. I don't like it's just very strange. I don't know what else to like really call.
Yeah, the variants are really weird. It's because they think they're making collectible stuff too, but
But
it's
you're
the
not.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Because
just
before,
flooding the
right,
market.
like you would get, like, let's even go back to Ninja Turtles, right? Like that first printing was like nice and crisp, right? And you would flip that, you could flip certain things, right? And it's like now you don't have like that fun little flip. It's just because there's so much. Like, unless you have some super rare variant, it's not really gonna do too much. And not that comics is about like flipping, right? Because it's just kind of like there. It's like a bonus, you know? And
Yeah,
so you can't have anything of value if it's not a rarity. And that's just kind of how it is. And it also motivates people to hop on because they're like, okay, like if I don't get this floppy, like it's going to cost me more later, excuse me. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So everyone, yeah, just I kind of want to just drive it home that this is one of those ones that's out there that sometimes the issue is people don't even know it's available. So bringing people's attention that the Good Night, this is one that was the first issue was launched in early Comicsgate days. And it's a great pitch, great story, great world building. Crystal's a great writer. The art you can see is like really awesome. It's this kind of photorealistic and black and white. A lot of it, the main story is black and white.
Yes.
It's
And
about it.
Francisco actually uses a mixed media approach. So he starts off on canvas, there's charcoal, there's the good old paints, and he, whips something up on canvas. He gives it to me. We kind of both work on the Photoshop, cleaning it up. Sometimes he'll already give it to me and it's fully cleaned, but then sometimes if I'm wanting him to get like more pages out or whatever, or I'll kind of take over to help that process, scoot along a little bit faster. So it's
Cool.
it's super awesome.
Yeah. Um, Nate says is there a video? Yeah, we already watched it, and I don't trust my internet, so everyone check it out on your own end. It's on Indiegogo. The Good Night 2. And yeah, this is a 12 issue series. It's going to be epic. Definitely recommend getting in on it early, getting some of these collectible issues. And it is a nice option that there's a very affordable option for the
Hmm.
digital if anyone wants to do that.
Yes.
So there's no excuse. This one is highly recommended. I mentioned this one could be like a good nomination too for buy one back one with like Bancroft's launched his campaign. It's going amazing. He's has like a $20,000 launch so far, and his book really high profile, really awesome, and congrats to Bancroft. But then yeah, consider just picking up some Good Night to get in on kind of the more like it's like the underground of the underground right now, but it will only grow as more people get their eyes on it and read it and get the positive word of mouth and everything.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you can check it out on the website, mysticalcomics.com, if you'd like to kind of just get in on that first issue PDF to kind of check it out. And yeah, I really
Cool.
appreciate everybody who's back so far. And sharing out the campaign really helps too. So if there's somebody that's interested, or if there's a show that you like, you can always respectfully tag people or mention it and all that good stuff. It like really helps. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Mcghee is an OG. Don't miss out on this campaign. Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
You were literally here since the very beginning. Like you were saying, like when
I am a
even
big lurker though, but I have made my presence known on occasion.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, which is cool. And yeah, so it's been great talking to you. We should talk more. I'll just be in touch when I don't know when, but we'll
For
do it
sure,
again. We'll
dude.
talk
I
more.
have so many stories that are just unbelievable from like just film industry in general and other crazy stuff because so like circling back to the script doctoring, There's
Yeah,
been a couple of rare occasions where I've done actually some not I don't know why I said script doctoring, but like more on the ghost writing side of things where I've done a couple books for the big two, ghost writing,
yeah,
to help people get caught up on issues because a lot of this stuff is planned 6 months ahead of time for like the big two. So sometimes like a writer has like a ton of books that are out, and sometimes they might need a ghostwriter to step in and do stuff. So I've done a couple things. So it's interesting. It's
yeah,
also weird because like I've been kind of stuck script doctoring and ghostwriting and I love writing, but it's hard doing that just because you are kind of like the invisible man making it all happen behind the scenes. And it's not really building your portfolio in like
yeah. You
a
don't get the
meaningful way.
satisfaction, and
Yeah,
even writing it, you might have to like you try to be someone else, kind of. You're like trying to write in their voice or whatever. It could be less
exactly.
fulfilling. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
So
tough. I love it and I wouldn't change anything. It's just very it's an interesting like little conundrum to be stuck in.
yeah, but that's why you got stuff where you do get to like kind of vent and do your pure creativity,
Yeah,
like which
like
is
this
basically
book.
a good night. Yeah,
Oh, and another thing to mention. So like you might have noticed well maybe some like avid readers out there, but it is entitled The Good Night Paradise Lost. So you might be thinking, there's another book, you know, called Paradise Lost out there. That, that might hold some significance,
cool. That's a good
So
tease. That's cool.
I
Uh,
literally can't say anything else because, like, that's spoiler territory.
I know,
And
but
I
that's a
can't
lot of
really
fun.
see.
So that's
It's a
getting
hint.
into a
It's a
little bit of
pretty,
like,
like, obvious hint in some ways, but then it's kind of subtle because, like, maybe you don't know about the book. So,
yeah. But so anyone, yeah, feel free to Google that if you're curious, because that is a lot of fun. I've just seen some YouTube videos about Paradise Lost, and they're really fun to watch.
oh,
That.
dude, what is it? The Wendigoon guy. I
Yep, yep, that's the
love
one I
his
watched.
channel, dude. I've been on his channel.
Yeah, I watch all his videos for sure.
Dude, I'm absolutely obsessed. There's a 5 hour video he just did recently, and I'm working through it there. It's
Yep,
for
me
like
too.
the country for old men. The
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
that
Blood
wrote that,
Meridian, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, the Blood Meridian, yeah, it's
Everyone's been talking about that, and then Cormac McCarthy passed away. But for some reason,
wow.
Blood Meridian's been kind of in the zeitgeist the past year or
Mhm.
so, kind of
Yeah.
randomly, and then he died. So now it's doubly people are talking about it because that's the one that like
Mm.
it's never been made a movie, but everyone wants to make it a movie.
It like hopefully I hope they don't because knowing Hollywood and being in the industry, they're gonna butcher it. So like don't
Yeah,
wish for that, guys.
yeah, they would
Unless
take.
it's somebody that you can trust. Like if maybe like if A24 put it out, like I might trust that, you know what I'm saying? But like if it's not A24, I don't think they're gonna go that hard. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, Alex BRB says, if you ghostwrite a musical, does that make you a Phantom of the Opera? Yes, yes, it
that
does.
is great. Which, dude, so like speaking of musicals, it's very strange because a lot of musicals now, and like I'm originally from New York, Buffalo, New York to be precise. So like I was over in Canada all the time. Before they made it tough because like 9/11, it's like okay, passport, passport. Before you could just like shoot
Yeah.
over there. That's not the case anymore. But back on topic, so the musicals. So like Emerald Fennell, who's done like some interesting movies. They're not really my cup of tea, but she's kind of up and coming. And they're actually getting like writers and in on musicals, like to write the book. So like that terrible bad Cinderella, like Emerald Fennell was writing that.
Oh,
And it was
weird.
like the very feminist take on Cinderella, but it was super shallow and It was like Andrew Lloyd Webber, and he was trying to make that the new thing because Phantom of the Opera is going to like leave Broadway. So
Oh,
that was supposed to be his new replacement for
oh,
um,
but they ran it through the
Phantom.
Bechdel test, and they're like, "You didn't pass the Bechdel test," and
No,
the
that one definitely did, but it was bad.
yeah, like it's
It's
funny.
so bad.
It's hard to make something good.
Cinderella doesn't need no man, guys, and then oops, it doesn't sell. Like I wonder how that.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
I know. That it's interesting to hear that because I would have guessed that like the peak of the annoying type of feminism where they're like trying too hard or whatever, like that was like a
Mhm,
few years ago, and I was thinking it maybe is waning, but you're
mhm.
kind of telling me no, it's still slash even worse now, and it's still
So
happening.
what they're doing now, guys, is that they're getting trickier and trickier. So what they're gonna do is they're acting like you are they're like basically the guy that's selling you drugs on the street and he's like, "Hey, do you want like a free sample?" And you're like, "Oh, it's a free sample," but then boom, he's got you like addicted. So in that analogy, what they're doing now is they're giving you this nostalgia bait, like let's say Indiana Jones, for example, right? They're like, okay, guys, we got Harrison Ford. All right, we tricked you into the theater, ha 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 ha. And then now it's like we have feminist agenda, right? We have all these things. This chick's taking over for Indy. Like that's the new trick, guys. That's what they're literally laughing at fans behind the scenes, like, oh guys, we're tricking them with the nostalgia bait, and like they're high five.
Yeah, that's
Literally
hilarious.
high-fiving, dude, no joke, no lie, they're literally laughing,
So
that
it's like a game
conversation
to them, and they
was
don't
real.
care about making a good movie. Then they actually
So,
do.
they wanna trick you guys. So,
Yeah,
like, for example, like, Into the Spider-Verse, it's like, "Okay, you guys have come here, this new Across the Spider-Verse," right? It's like, "Okay, you guys came here for Miles, right? He's new, he's hip, okay." And what do we get? It's like, "Okay, we're gonna make Spider-Gwen even bigger than the last time and not in the same way that they did," right? So, like, in the first Spider-Verse, they're kind of like more like friends and like allies, and they're kind of like sort of hinted as a love interest. And then
yeah,
in the second one, it's kind of just like weird friend zone, but like still some feelings. And that's what they're doing to trick people now.
yeah. Which, by the way, that's a trope that they haven't escaped. That's kind of racist. Is they never give sexuality to the black young men. Like in Star Wars, they do that too. Like a Finn, they don't let him have
Dude,
a
because
girlfriend.
guess what? Because these are props. They're using. They're like, okay, like we want to get this. We want the African American demographic to come out to this film like they did for Black Panther, but then it's nothing like Black Panther, right? Like not even the same charisma. And
Yeah,
then, and I didn't even care for Black Panther that much. The film version, obviously, I love the comics. His stuff with the Fantastic Four was, the bomb. But other than that, it's like this just, they don't want to actually give you what you want. They don't want you to be happy.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
they want to trick
this
you
is
now. That's the big thing. They want to trick you now.
yeah. This
It's
is
so
so
tough. And
fascinating.
sometimes you will fall for that bait, right? Like this new Transformers, like Beast Wars take that they did. I love it, right? And I'm a big fan of Wu Tang, right? You throw some Wu Tang songs in there, like you've got me, right? Like I'm even wearing a Wu Tang hoodie right now. Like you
Yeah,
guys have like, okay, I've taken the bait. And then it's like, okay, now we're gonna say like, and it's probably a spoiler. I don't know, like it's been out for a while. I guess if you don't want to hear it, like close your ears or
for
mute
this is
the
for
screen.
Transformers.
Yeah, the new Transformers, like mute or turn off the screen. I'm just gonna say it real quick and then
Yeah,
like
we
give
don't
us
mind here on this
okay.
channel. Go ahead.
So like they introduced like G.I. Joe at the end.
Oh damn.
So it's gonna be like G.I. Joes and Transformers working together. And I was like, dude, like I was in the theater, like, what? Like I didn't see it coming, okay? and it's like they keep reeling you in, and sometimes you're just like lapping up the bait, and it's so hard to like to let go. I feel you guys.
Yeah, because they can always get you. The other thing they do, it seems like if you're talking about their most wily of tricks, they will make good stuff once in a while. Like the Star Trek they're saying. I never watched it, but like season 3 of Discovery, is it Discovery? I forget. But supposedly it's actually pretty good.
Oh,
It,
Picard, yeah.
yeah, Picard, that's what it is. And it's kind of it feels like the same thing. It's like, okay, they've reeled you back in and it's just going to be more uh woke stuff or whatever, agenda weird
Yes.
agenda stuff. But that's funny. It's fun. So the kind of revelation, just that you say it so like matter of factly, does kind of help it. And the fact that they are literally trying to trick you, they're literally high-fiving.
These
It's like a
executives love it, dude. Like it's a sick game, no lie. Like
yeah, it's
they
like
have
literally a
like
game to
they'll
them.
make fake bingo cards and they'll get some wine and they'll like laugh at the fans, dude. Like it's no joke. They're like,
That's so
ooh.
interesting.
And there's even more crazy stuff. So like think about like a terrible movie that comes out, like let's say Elemental. You know, some people might like it, some might not, but it's failing at the box office. And these damage control teams, like for production companies, are no joke, okay? Like they have people that are selling them like Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts. The older the better, and they're swapping out icons and they're attacking fans in the chat, pretending like they loved Elemental, right? And then
Oh,
they
damn.
Disney retweets it from their official Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
dude, don't play. Like you guys are like interacting with people that are allegedly hardcore fans on Twitter. That's a damage control person, dude.
Yeah. That
Like
makes sense.
it's so
That it
like, and
means
it's so
like
sick when you see behind the scenes. Like from what I'm seeing, there's like thousands of accounts, and they have a dedicated team 24/7 tweeting at people. And unfortunately, they don't know what's going on. They're
yeah.
taking the bait, and you're fighting with somebody on
Oh,
Twitter for hours.
you know
That
what this reminds me of? I've been watching just a little bit of. I haven't finished it yet. This is my
Mhm.
own problem, but it's hard for me unless I go to a theater to watch a movie in one sitting just because of ADD or whatever, just because of modern shit. But I've been watching The Verdict, which is the old Paul Newman movie, and in that one, it's like little lawyer versus big lawyer with the backing of $1 billion company, and you wonder, like, I didn't fully understand, but they kind of position it like, I was like, oh, is the big lawyer just a really good lawyer and the little lawyer is an underdog because the big lawyer is really smart? It's like,
Uh,
no, the big lawyer has like the media in his pocket, the newspapers in his pocket, and he will run, yeah, like these media narratives,
mhm,
and they will write everything he wants them to write. And he's like a puppeteer, puppet
mhm,
master, and he has access to that kind of power. And I was like,
mhm.
oh, that's why if it's
Exactly.
little guy versus big guy, it's not that one's extra good at his job and extra smart. It's that he has access to these weird tools that
Mhm.
no one else has
Yes,
access to.
dude. And it's crazy because they have software for this, guys. So, like, essentially, sometimes, like, it's a small, dedicated, like, let's say there's 20 to 30 people on this, like, damage control team, quote unquote, right? And, like, they have, like, bots and they're, like, doing all sorts of crazy stuff behind the scenes. They're flooding your comment section, like somebody was saying here, like they're looking for you and they're on the hunt for terms. They're on the hunt for all of this and that. And it's crazy. And it's like it just that to know that like that's part of their marketing budget sometimes, guys. So like part of their marketing budget is messing with you on Twitter. So
Yeah.
like if you see the Flash, right? Let's say I don't know what the marketing budget is for that, but like let's guesstimate here and let's say marketing budget is, let's say just to be safe, like 100,000, right? Or like not even, that's too small. What am I thinking today? Like let's say that the marketing, let's go even smaller, right? Let's say that there's a smaller conservative film, all right, like the Barbie movie, for example, that is like 100 million. So
Yeah.
let's say their marketing budget, and I don't know what the marketing budget is for that, but let's say it's like 10 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And they part of their marketing budget is hiring these firms to attack you guys on social media. That's built into the budget.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's crazy. So that's like a job if you're an entrepreneur, you're like, I'm going to start a firm, a bot farm firm or whatever.
yeah. And
There's
they'll pay
overlaps
for
with who
the
your clients
accounts.
would
They'll
be.
create accounts on new social media to start aging that account. Because you're not going to believe, like, we obviously know when you look at somebody's account and it says 6 months ago, like
Yeah.
really last week, like that's a red flag, right? So that's not what they're doing. They're getting accounts that are nice and old. So, like 2012, 2010, like stuff like that, and they're coming after you. And
Yeah. They're
it's
like growing, it's like a tree farm where they're growing the bots and then they become ripe after they're like 6 years old and then they
yeah,
sell
and they'll
them.
buy accounts from people too, like old accounts, and they'll be like, "Hey, and some people will sell accounts. Like there's people that are kind of like entrepreneurs. They're like, okay, like I've got a ton of accounts. Let me approach these companies. Okay, we'll buy those accounts from you." Like it sounds like wild, but obviously, like the most like common thing that people are kind of aware of is that reviewers get paid to review films. Like they'll get paid to give a good review or the
Yeah.
pay for play, right? Like if you don't give us a good review, we're not going to give you access to
Yeah.
our next movie or next video game. So people get pressured into giving a good review. That's very common, but what's not as well known is this social media comment section
Yeah.
swarming.
Yeah.
And it's super bad on YouTube, guys. Like, don't just think it's Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
YouTube is like
You're
one
black
of,
pilling us. You're going to make
yeah.
us all cynical, but we should be anyway.
Dude,
Uh,
it's so sad, right? Because I love movies. I always have. I've been to the theater since I can remember. My earliest memories were in the theater. And it's like you get into the career field, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change a thing, but it's like the executives are killing the vibe.
yeah.
They are
That's
killing
funny.
the vibe hard. And the
Have you
reviewers
done
are
any
killing
writing
it.
for video games?
So video games I have not.
Okay. Because they're in a weird state too. They got the similar thing happening.
Mhm.
Oh, they showed like I don't know. It's not confirmed that it's real, but I'm pretty sure it is. But it's from the Silent Hill 2 remaster remake. That's kind of high profile, but a lot of haters, including me, because we love the original. And this new one's coming out. It looks kind of dumb. The main
Oh
character's
no.
design looks dumb. But it was a screen that it starts the game. It's a black screen, and it might have had so much like negative response that they took this away. But the black screen starts and it gives you this little like it's like a trigger warning, but it said
Mhm.
this game was made in a time when only white people got representation, and we apologize for that or something like that. And then
Mhm.
the game starts to play, and we're
Yep.
like, what are they doing? What is happening?
Oh yeah. Like it's so sad because too, like I was just thinking, like a lot of these executives, guys, like the thing you need to understand, like why films and TV are so bad. A lot of these people don't know anything about the company that they're in charge of, the work that they're, overseeing. Like some of these guys, like can't name a TV show recently or just period.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, why would I watch TV? TV's for like, lazy
it's
bodies.
for the
Like,
people we're
dude,
trying to trick. Yeah,
why are you in charge of TV shows right now? Why are
yeah,
you an executive? And it's like there's an even worse in animation. There's like guys that are executives in that area and they can't tell you a thing about animation. They know nothing about, because it's frame by frame, right? There's timing, There's like in between shots. There's all this stuff going on. There's storyboards, and they have no clue. They can't. You start talking terms, they're like, can you make that, like, simplify that for me? Because I
Yeah.
don't understand that. And you're like, dude, why are you here?
Yeah.
Collect a big paycheck, guys. And it's
That's
so hard
ridiculous.
to say no to this stuff because this is like your childhood. And I feel you there, but it's just, you gotta cut it because these people are just laughing at you behind the scenes.
Yeah. Framing it as a little bit more of like a battle of wits, and you don't want to lose. If they think they're beating you because they're tricking you, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that make it a little more personal for the fans to be
Yeah,
able to.
because they're getting a new boat off of you and they're laughing about it. Like, I had two executives and they'll just say stuff like, sometimes, like, everybody's different and it depends on what company you're at, what production, etc. So not everybody's experience is the same. There's lots of good people out there, but there are lots of bad people in it to make a buck off of you. Okay. So not like, there are a lot of good companies. Okay. Like A24 is amazing. Okay. There's others like that. Um, what was Fox Searchlight was good, So there are people out there. It's now like, you know, it's just, it's so different.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we just like trolled people. It's so hilarious. They're like taking the nostalgia bait. That's the new trap. So try not to fall for it. It sucks,
Yeah.
but don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, 25 people watching. I'm pretty sure everyone's enraptured. Is that the right word? I don't know for what
Dude,
what
I could
we
talk
put
for
down.
hours.
But so we got 3 backers so far now. 2 while we're
Oh,
talking. So 3 so far for the Narwhal Nudge. That's pretty great for a 1-hour stream, a little over an hour. But yeah, thanks everyone. I'm gonna kind of start wrapping up this stream, and Crystal will chat just a little bit behind the
yeah.
scenes too. But yeah, so just letting everyone know the Good Night Paradise Lost, number 2 of 12. Great pitch, great world building. Kind of like,
Thank
yeah,
you.
really some good stuff in store for everyone. Everything you say about it sounds like the best of the best, kind of. And then finding out that you work in Hollywood and script doctor, ghostwriter, and the inside scoop on a lot of this stuff that's happening now. A lot of the, yeah, like places where like talented writers like Crystal can actually put out, things that their own creative freedom or whatever is like indie comics, which is so great about it. But
I know. Indie comics is amazing. That's where all of the good new stuff that's like up and coming is starting to shine, guys, and take flight.
yep. So yeah, so chat, thanks for being here and checking it out. Definitely this was a good highlight stream. I feel like I'm going to keep it up on the channel because it's good insider scoop stuff and talking to Crystal, and her project looks really great. So I can't wait to check it out myself.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And I'm going to end the broadcast here. And so everyone will just say bye.